Well, hello there. Sorry for saying this video was gonna be out in June. So I did initially record this video back in May, but a few things. One, I decided to stick way too rigorously to the script that I wrote. And I'm doing, you can't see it, but I'm doing very big air quotes when I say script, because it was a list of loose bullet points with the whole intention being that I wouldn't religiously follow it. And I ended up doing that, and because of it, the recording was like 5 minutes long, and it sucked, and it was terrible. So I scrapped it and said, well, I'll record it soon. You know, I'll do it soon. And then a few months passed. But I'm here now, okay? I'm here now to finally give you the 10K special, QnA special. Ignore the fact that I now have 12K subscribers. That's my bad. A few of the questions and the answers I wrote down are outdated. I'll clarify things when I get to them. Outside of that, yeah, content's slow. I moved recently. I have a new job. A lot of stuff. Mostly the new job. This new job is a lot. It's pretty rigorous, a lot of work, but it's fine. So there you go. There's your explanation. Nothing big this time, thankfully. I don't exactly know if there will be any more videos coming out soon. Honestly, there might not be another video until 2026 for all I know. But thank you for always being here. And, you know, there are a lot of you here. That's pretty surprising. So, yeah. And again, this isn't scripted. None of this is. I just have some bullet points. So if I do a lot of ums and ers and all that, you know why. But let's get started with this. Why did you decide to do YouTube? I've always wanted to do YouTube. In the past, I would like draft up scripts for videos and stuff and then never do anything with it. But what finally gave me that push to do something was I wasn't getting the hours at work that I wanted. Like, I liked my job. I got paid pretty well, but they gave me a very small amount of hours despite being a full-time employee. And as a result, I was getting pretty tight on funds. So I decided, okay, I'll try doing this as a second job. I don't think it's gonna work, but I can throw one video out into the aether. It's a topic I'm passionate about. It's something that I think I could write a whole script on. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. There we go. It ended up working. Here we are. Whoops. After that, though, they did actually give me the hours I was looking for, and I started working pretty consistently. So as a result, I didn't exactly get to make content consistently, despite that being the hope from the start. And now here we are, present day, I still don't make content consistently. Why woman? I committed a grave sin in a past life and was henceforth punished. This is my curse. Predictions for the next Walpurgisnacht. Also, smoking epic or what? Smoking is so epic. I'm hitting a fat blunt as we speak. This is one of the ones which is kind of outdated. I wrote here in my quote-unquote script that my prediction, since next is going to be Lobotomy Corporation and we're likely going to Berea, I was right about that part. My idea was Welfare Captain Ishmael and Crimson Scar and Disciplinary Captain Heathcliff and Cobalt Scar. Which, I mean, okay, it's perfect. It fits with the theme of their literary sources, it harkens to their rivalry with each other, it offers contrasting outfit and department colors, and it's just what has to be done. Since then, we have instead gotten Love and Hate Dawn and Sword Sharpened with Tears Rhodia. So that's pretty cool. Please still do this. Though now we're actually coming up on the next one being Ruina themed. I wrote for my prediction for that, it would be moving into Urban Nightmare. So we'll either get Emma and Noah or the Smiling Faces. I don't think we'll get puppets or sweepers because those just don't really seem like they could be done. The Index is all nameless NPCs at this point in the story. Crying Children seems dumb when we already have Dawn Sinclair. And we have like 5 billion warp identities. Warp identities. So no, they're not gonna do like Rose and what were even the other guys' names? Was one of them Leslie? Or what? I think one of them had an L in it. Wait, I'm gonna look this up. I'm like so curious now. Lesty. Okay, I was close. I thought it was Leslie. Are you gay? I think the better question is, why are you gay? Okay, real question. What are your top 3 non-PM games? Shin Megami Tensei 4 is my favorite game of all time. It means a lot to me, and there's a reason why I put a lot of SMT music in my videos. particularly SMT4 and classic Persona. I think that those two have those two things in particular have really good soundtracks. They're also really good games. Like, if you're a fan of Persona and you haven't played Persona 2 particularly, I suggest it. I don't think that they're the best gameplay-wise games, but they've got a sauce to them that you cannot deny, and the story of Innocent Sin in particular is insane. Apart from that, I do also really like Fire Emblem and Guilty Gear. I also include a lot of Fire Emblem music in my videos. Guilty Gear, not as much, since a lot of it is lyrical themes, especially nowadays with Strive. And that's a lot harder to slip into videos while still having it sound good. In the past, I did have the top 3 pick of Skullgirls, but that game did suffer like a great legendary crash out. If you don't know about it, it is insane, and one of these days I do really want to make a video on it. What are your favorite alignments/routes in SMT games? I think in general, the white or nothing or nihilism ending, whatever you call it, in SMT4 is immaculate. It serves the game's themes, and it works. It's hard to explain if you haven't played the game. It's also an ending that stuck out to me a lot. At the time, I was going through a pretty rough patch in my life. A lot of people almost like kind of make fun of the ending because, oh, you have a super nihilistic game that shows you that everything sucks, and then the bad ending is the one where you kill yourself. I think they're missing the point, because in reality, it's meant to call out how stupid that line of thinking is. Because even though everything sucks, everyone's still trying to work towards a brighter future and find joy in the little things, and the protagonist can't see that because they're trying to focus too much on everything being perfect and people not suffering anymore. Great game. I love that game. Despite not being a big fan of what Redux did for Strange Journey, I think the Redux neutral ending might be my favorite ending in all of Mega 10. It's great. That's another one where I think you kind of have to play the game to understand what makes it so great, but it's really cinematic, it's well put together, and it's got this really good bittersweet tone to it. Not mainline SMT, but Royal's False Reality and Golden's Accomplice ending are really interesting bad endings. They have so much work put into them and present such interesting ideas despite being, you know, quick throwaway bad endings that end the game early. And finally, in general, I think Devil's Survivor had the best take on alignments. I think it did really good by having, like, chaotic neutral and lawful neutral and all that, and generally showing the slow degradation into how the ideals can radicalize someone, rather than having the quick slippery slope, which I understand why the game starts slow and then suddenly pivot and dive into genocide on all sides, but I mean, I like how Devil's Survivor did it more. Any experience with tabletop RPGs, and more specifically, Project Moon tabletop RPGs? I have been having a growing obsession on how my favorite YouTubers engage with the hobby. I have played my fair shake of Dungeons & Dragons. I even own the full LEGO collectible minifigures collection for Dungeons & Dragons. Maybe not my proudest collectible. And while I've never done a Project Moon tabletop game, I have flirted in the past with the idea of homebrewing Cyberpunk 2013 to do that. I never really got around to it, but maybe someday. Since I'm already homebrewing it, I'd probably even do more of a mix of Cyberpunk 2013 and 2020. I'm just saying that in the past, I was looking at the 2013 rulebook and using that as a conceptualizing point for writing a Project Moon story. Most favorite Kanto. So at the time, I wrote Kanto 6. It does a really good job marrying Limbus Company with the source material. In general, I don't mind Limbus being a loose adaptation. You know, I like Kanto 5. I like how it's what happened after Moby Dick. But I really like how Kanto 6 took the source material and had it walk hand in hand with a story that Limbus wanted to tell. Since then, I honestly don't know if I like 6 or 8 more. This was written before Kanto 8 came out. Since then, Kanto 8 has been phenomenal. It paid off a lot of things, it set up a lot of really interesting ideas, it had a lot of great scenes and amazing music. It's got its problems, but I still think it's fantastic. I don't really know which one I'd say is better, but gun to my head, probably still Kanto 6. I really like Kanto 6. Any particular Kanto you're looking forward to? And what do you think Purgatorio will consist of? Kanto 10 is the one I'm looking forward to the most. Merceau is my favorite sinner, and I'm really curious to see how Project Moon will adapt the source material. If you haven't read The Stranger, then know that the second half of the book is a court drama, and honestly, I have no clue how Project Moon is going to pull that off in a world where murder is legal. My best guess is that they're gonna have him violate a taboo instead, but I don't even know if the court system exists in Project Moon. I think there's lawyers, there's contract offices, and like legally binding documents and stuff. Maybe there's lawyers. They just consist of fixers, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm really excited to see that. I'm excited to see more of District 14, which we also certainly will with that. And again, it's a really interesting book. Kim Ji-hoon in interviews has also said, yeah, it's a really interesting book. So I'd 100% be so on board for whatever they do. And I feel like they're gonna get really creative with it. Purgatorio, I think it's gonna be the moment where all the still alive villains that have been built up are gonna appear and have some big showdown or whatever. Everyone from Herman's gang and everyone from Demian's gang. Is it Herman or Arman? I've heard both. I mostly hear Herman, but I've had a few people tell me that it's Arman. I'm just gonna say Herman. Herman from Kanto 1, Sonia from 2, Demian from 3, Gubo from 4, Ahab from 5, I almost said 6, oh my god, Nelly from 6, Sansan from 7, and then I wrote at the time, because again, this was pre-Kanto 8, probably Jia Huen. Yeah, definitely Jia Huen. And then whoever appears from the 2 groups in the following cantos. If you were given creative control, how would you map out Mr. Salt's Kanto? I haven't really thought of this, so I can't say I have a proper English class assignment-styled roadmap, but I do have a few ideas. We know it's probably going to take place in District 14's nest, which is already ripe for the pickin' for sun imagery, since every building there is painted white. The idea of the sun in the sky being the only color in a monochrome world works really well with the source material and the themes that I'm sure Limbus itself will want to strike at. What with Merceau's logo featuring the sun shining on the chains, and his character introduction trailer literally ending with him saying the sun was a little intense. You know, you can't cut out the sun made me do it. It's kind of like the biggest thing in that book. There is also the book quote being changed from Mother Died to I Killed Mother, which could possibly be relevant, but it's more likely it was just done to not piss off Camus' estate. I know that's the common theory. It's similar to why they changed Gregor's weapon name. Mostly though, I think it's gonna go more the way of Kanto 5 in being a sequel to the original novel with consistent flashbacks to show how the novel is being adapted. I mostly believe this as Merceau is never shown smoking, which reads to me as a hint that he's from the end of the book. It could also have been done because they just didn't want to make him smoke, especially when they already had 2 characters who smoke all the time in the cast. But I want to feel smart here, and I feel like it'd be really smart if this whole time it's like, yeah, the reason why he doesn't smoke like he does in the book is because also, like in the book, he just stopped smoking when he went to prison. There's also the whole I went to nightclubs when I was trying to discover— oh wait, let me read that in a more Merceau voice. I went to nightclubs when I was trying to discover myself scene, and you know, that kind of strikes me as this takes place after the book. I know I just answered a what would you do question with a here's what I think will happen, but I really don't have any ideas on how I'd write it. I'm sorry. If you could add anything to Limbus, what would it be? Any way for Nuggets to return, alright? I don't care if it's like designing a representative for the company and it's entirely non-canon. I just miss Nuggets. I miss him so much. Do you like Kasane Teto? Who doesn't? Where does your profile picture come from? I get asked this one a lot. It comes from the manga Raito Kuzunoha vs. the Lone Moribito, which is a mid-quel manga for the games Raito Kuzunoha vs. the Soulless Army. I think now, because of the remaster, it's actually called Raito Kuzunoha and the Mystery of the Soulless Army, and Raito Kuzunoha vs. King Abaddon. Here's the specific panel the image is from. The character is an Ippon Datsura demon that is disguised as a maid, and I just think she's really cute and easily recognizable. I also wrote on here that the first game is getting remastered soon, and as a result, the manga is actually receiving an official English translation. I think actually the remaster is out now, but I haven't bought it because it's like $80 if I remember correctly. It's at least $70, but I think it was $80, and that is way too much for a remaster, even of a game I adore. I'm waiting for it to go on sale. And speaking of, what do you think of the Raito remake / remaster? I'm personally really excited for it. By the way, looking forward to another future SMT video. As excited as I was when it originally leaked, I was really worried at the same time. To those who aren't big fans of SMT, all you need to know is that recently we've been getting absolutely atrocious remasters. So when the actual trailer dropped, I was happy to see that it's a proper remaster and not like a port with shitty AI upscaling, because that's what the Persona Portable remaster was. It was really bad. They're adding new demons, an English dub, and most importantly, they changed how the camera controls work, which is really all I needed to see for me to be sold. The original game had a fixed camera and it sucked, so I'm really happy to see that we're getting free camera controls. Now I'm just gonna cross my fingers and hope that they made the moon cycle puzzles less obnoxious, because those also sucked. What was/is your favorite subject or topic to study in any environment? School, university, self-study, you know, you get... Definitely culinary. I know that's an odd pick when you hear school, but I actually went to culinary school. If that's too weird and out of left field for you, then I don't know. I really liked the communications course I took. The professor was cool, and it was basically just a semester of giving PowerPoint presentations on whatever you wanted. I remember I gave one on Sesame Street, one on Greek cuisine, and another one on weird anti-smoking PSAs. Again, that really came down to the teacher making the class. My professor was awesome. What's your favorite abnormality? Love your videos, by the way. I'm basic, it's Starfly Shoots. Best Pokemon? I'm basic, it's Mimikyu. Jelly, are you edging or are you gooning? Why not both? Do you have an association, syndicate, office that you'd like to see more identities of? She excluded, God knows we all want them. I really want to see what the Trace is like. Then in terms of associations already in the game, it's criminal that we only have one Wi-Fi identity. For syndicates, literally anything that isn't Kurikumo or Blade Lineage. Okay, they're cool, I know, but I'm tired of seeing it! Then for an office, I think Fang Hunt has so much potential, especially with how neat Honglu's kit is. If you could make an association for the Project Moon series, what kind of association are they, and what would their aesthetics be? Now, ironically, I've designed both an office and a syndicate in the past, but never an association. Maybe if there's enough interest, I'll make a video going over my Project Moon OCs and their extensive lore, and I'll get into the office and syndicate there, but for now, I'm gonna ignore the fact that it's pretty clear that I have an AO3 account. As for an association, we do have one we haven't seen yet. 2 if you count Runa's scrapped ending and the Limbus's implications of there trying to be a 13th distortion-based association. People generally agree that the 12th association will be the Dodeca, and personally I think it'd be really cool if they were sort of like explorers. We've heard of fixers going to the outskirts to hunt for treasure, and I think a gang of Indiana Joneses that specialize in those kinds of things would be awesome. And you know, obviously their outfits and aesthetic would be exactly within that ballpark. Indiana Joneses. They all look like Indiana Jones, and they're hunting in the ruins. That would be sick, and would also fit with the corresponding Sinner, the Odyssey, blah blah blah, exploration, artifacts, all that stuff. I enjoy your long-winded rants concerning particular topics that interest you, as your thoughts are fun to witness in a video format. Would it be possible to hear about videos that didn't make the cut and either being shared as text or made into a video? I do very rarely post text dumps like that on my Tumblr, but I have considered more consistently posting either looser first impression videos or text posts on my Patreon. Just never could be quite sure if that was something anyone would want to see. As for some of the videos that didn't make the cut, at least for the time being, there's the video about King Quay and Star Rail, and how she always seemed to find new relevance. Though that one has kind of aged like milk as the idea, because Star Rail went kind of off the rails with balancing, and now King Quay's kind of garbage, so. A theory about how I totally think Carmen is Mephistopheles, and you cannot sway me on that theory. I have so much evidence. And of course, the Farm Launch video, which actually has a nearly half-year-old finished script rotting away on my computer. Oh, and recently I thought about maybe recording a barely edited explaining every identity season by season set of videos that goes over how every identity works and hypothetical teams and builds for them. Reason for that one is I tend to listen to videos about competitive Pokemon while trying to sleep, and I've always felt like a Limbus version of that would be cool. And I've been told before I have a soothing voice. I don't see it, but who am I to disagree with the masses? I'm sure I could get you some allergy ASMR. ASMR jelly. What the fuck is this joke? I don't know where I'm going with this. How did you discover and get into Project Moon? Or additionally, what other media properties do you like? That started when I was like 15 or 16, I don't exactly remember. A friend of mine would occasionally post about Lobotomy Corporation, and I slowly but surely became more interested in what this whole thing was about. I even remember once I was doing some art requests for funsies, and he told me to draw Gebera, and that really got me interested. because it just looked like an interesting character while I was looking up art references. Here's that art, by the way. It's really old. One day, I finally decided to ask this friend of mine what this game was about. I looked it up on Steam and immediately determined it was not my cup of tea and moved on. Fast forward a couple of months, my brother walked up to me and admitted he had absolutely no clue what to get me for my birthday. So I opened up Steam, browsed through some games I had looked at in the past but didn't want to get at the time, pointed at Lobotomy Corp and said, well, this one's cheap and I have a friend who likes it. He shrugged, said, yeah, I think I've heard of that one. And so began my journey. I liked the game, but I didn't realize how hooked I had become until I went on a weekend camping trip and I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like, I just kept thinking about how badly I wanted to go home and play more Lobotomy Corp, and, you know, I like camping. I was excited for this trip. It wasn't like I was going because I had to and I just wanted to stay home and play video games. No, I like camping. That is when the rot fully consumed me, and I haven't gone back since. I've been obsessed with this series, and I don't think that's gonna end anytime soon. I remember when Limbus even got its announcement trailer. You don't even know how excited I was. I was even a part of the swarm of people who experienced the game going down when it came out, and all I could do was wonder what the point of me pre-registering was. That fun time, that was really fun. That was super long-winded, so thank goodness I already answered the second part of this question earlier. Simple question, but what do you like about Limbus Company? The story. I'm not gonna try fooling anyone here and say it's the gameplay. I know I make content all about the gameplay, and like I do like the gameplay, but it's the story. Full stop. It has always been the story. What do you think about raw carrot? I don't like carrots. Best husbando? Ironically, despite constantly joking about finding Yi-sung hot on this channel, he's like the least attractive sinner in general out of all of them. Anyways, the answer is Marcel. Not because he's hot, but because he seems like the only one that'd be a top-tier husband. And according to the book, he'd marry me even if he didn't love me, so I don't have to worry about rejection. Seriously though, I think most of the Limbus cast would make genuinely terrible partners. Like think about it. You have very few tolerable options. I have a basic question, but I would like to know, what's your 3 favorite sinners? Marceau is my favorite in general, as I've mentioned a few times by now. His source material is good, his adaptation in Limbus is good, he consistently gets the funniest scenes, he's my favorite. Trailing behind him would be Yi-sung and Ryoshu. Yi-sung has my favorite usage of the source material, and also tends to get really funny scenes. Then Ryoshu consistently gets some of my favorite identities, and also has straight up my favorite book referenced by this game. If you haven't read Hellscreen yet, please read it. I joked about it in the past, but it is available in its entirety on the Creepypasta wiki. And I mean, anything to make it more accessible. It's a really good short story. She also has a great sense of intrigue set up around her, and I'm sure her canto is gonna be a banger. Here's a variety of questions about favorite IDs, so let's just answer all of them. In general, my favorite ID is Sonk Merceau. The concept is genius if you've read the book, particularly the ending monologue of the book. Plus, the design is sick and jokes about live streaming Merceau are really funny. And his story is hilarious. If you haven't read it, please do. It's very funny. My favorite ID not on my favorite center, since Merceau is my favorite, is Potential Man. That one's easy. Least favorite ID is Vi Sinclair, the old one, not the new one. Look, there are worse identities. There are worse identities even on Sinclair, but at least they aren't boring. Sloshing Ishmael's at least funny, for example. I can't name a single redeeming quality of Vi Sinclair outside of the admittedly adorable Uptie 1 art. And even then, that's mostly being carried by Dawn. And finally, my most used is probably Ring Song. I don't know what else you were expecting there. Kaon Son or Hatalia Daughter. I remember one day I was drawing in my history class and the teacher walked over and just said, "So you like anime, huh? Well, did you know there's an entire anime about history?" And proceeded to pitch Italia to me, before admitting that he had never seen it before. I think about that sometimes. Anyways, Kaon Son, because at least then I don't have to frame Empreg art on my fridge. What jelly are you allergic to? That's for me to know and you to find out. Do it fart? I don't know, do it. Do you want to play Rivals with me later? No, get out! Which Project Moon faction, wing, association, syndicate, whatever, is your favorite? I think it'd be boring for me to answer Lobotomy Corporation because it's got the most of it on stuff. Most of it on stuff. Most stuff on it. Oh my god. So I'm not gonna say that. Wink. Anyways, I love the Daiki. Daishi? Daiki?
10.
I'm starting to realize that I've never read it out loud. And I don't know Italian at all. Whatever. a bunch of nuns and priests that solve the mysteries of the universe via punching people really hard just rocks. It's awesome. It's sick. I love the aesthetic. I love the idea. I love what it does for Project Moon. It's great. And that's all the questions. I know that it's like the most cheesy thing to say as a YouTuber, but genuinely, thank you all for being here, for subscribing, for watching, for whatevering. I never thought I'd reach this point. I never thought I'd be here in this moment recording this video. It's a lot to think about, and it's wonderful, really. It's wonderful to be able to have the opportunity to make content for people, and I'm glad that people like it. I put a lot of work into my videos. They don't tend to come out very fast because of that, as badly as I wish they could come out a bit faster. And as I mentioned prior, don't expect much content for the remainder of 2025, if at all in 2025. I think 2026 is going to be a better year for content, and the channel is a year old now. That's unrelated. I don't know why I said "and" like it was. It just hit my mind. Channel's a year old now. We've been at this for a bit now. So yeah, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video. No Patreon reading, because this isn't really a proper video. I'll do it in the next video, I promise. And I don't know when this is going to end up coming out, but at the time of recording, Walpurgisnacht is going on, so good luck with your polls. Until next time. I don't know. Just until next time.